Hey, what's up, guys? Siri Emerald here. Thanks for tuning in. Another episode of just unboxing whatever the heck we got. It's kind of like a P.O. box, pickups, live, call-in, talk show, whatever. So, what I have here, I bought another one of these R2 Deluxe from Sideshow. I don't know why. It was a good price. So I decided to go ahead and get one while they still had them. What I really want to get to is I have a Lady Death, a TB League Bison Lady Death. I also have this Spider-Man Homecoming, and I have a Mark 23 Shades, and a Mark 41 Bones, Daredevil, Mask, a Transformer Transforming Bumblebee, Masterpiece. I think it's NPM3, Dakara Tomy, right there. So, what's going on? It's too far away, I can't read the name. Mauricio, hello, how are you? Welcome to the channel. So I don't know, what do you think, Spider-Man or Iron Man? The Spider-Man is the homecoming suit. I'm going to go to the Iron Man Mark 23 Shades. I've really been wanting to open this. I've had this guy for, it's been a year now in the box. It's a long time. Let's get him going. So this is the sleeve version. I was talking about last week. Hot Toys, for the most part, does either the sleeve, the shoebox, or the die cast. And this figure is not die cast. So this is the exact same figure as the Yo-Yo, what's going on? This is the exact same figure as the Mark 40 shotgun, if you remember that figure, which is one of my favorite figures. So this figure then has a different paint scheme. So the difference between a repaint, like a total rip-off, in some people's opinions, for instance, like the Mark 7 Stealth or the Mark 7 Sub-Zero, which have nothing to do with the movie. It did kind of make a reference to the chromatic armor of the Mark 7 Stealth. What's going on, Ronald? Here in the box. Holy cow, I ain't kidding you, man. And I like this figure. I like the way this figure was done as the Mark 40. It's a really cool figure. So I don't know why I haven't put him out. He's gonna go up top there with the other guys, I think. Maybe that was what it was. I didn't know where I was gonna put him at. So he's totally plastic. This is not a die-cast figure. The Mark 40 was not a die-cast figure. And this was a San Diego Comic-Con 2017 exclusive. Which means first come, first serve there. And then it was made available in the other markets for that. So anybody could have bought him then. He's a sold-out figure. So you're not going to be able to just find him necessarily anywhere. But he's really cool, and his brother is even cooler, the Mark 40 shotgun. I imagine this one does not have the same abilities that the Mark 40 does, but I imagine it has similar abilities. So in here we have the House Party Protocol base. So this base is supposed to represent the base in his garage, where he, I don't know, tests his armors and goes down into where the house party is stored. And the only one they ever made that lights up is the one that came with that, I don't know, I forget what it was called. The mech test set? Don't remember now. but it's the one that comes with the whole base. That's the only one that lights up. But every single one of these are designed exactly the same way. There's actually even a little button here that doesn't work. You can't press the button. And if you look underneath, it even shows like there would be an area for the batteries. So there are several people who have customized these and have put LED lights in them. It'll totally light up should you ever decide to do that. And it looks really cool. If you ever want to light up base, it's there. It's just a matter of putting a light in there, however you want to design that. So it's capable of that, but it doesn't come lit up. One of the neat things about the Mark 40, which this is not, let me get my Mark 40 down so we can actually do a comparison side by side. The Mark 40 came with the head sculpt. The Mark 23 does not. And I think the ones that they come out with head sculpts are the ones that actually had him wearing in the movies. And him, of course, I mean Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark. So this one I have up top. With my arrangement of the house party protocol when they get called in Iron Man 3, where they all fly in. I have them up there arranged as the order that they show up. And he's one of the ones that show up in that. So this guy came with the head sculpt. And it also has the ability of when you would close it, it actually lights up with the head sculpt in there, which is the only figure that did that. No other figure has that ability built into it that I've seen, where the helmet actually lights up with the face inside of it. Now correct me if I'm wrong, if they did anything else. What's going on? What's going on, Day? Would that be right? Day Zhao? Morning. So no other figure has that where that changes. And this one does not come with a head, and the faceplate doesn't even come off. So it could be modified. There's no way, in my opinion, am I going to be able to make this look like this with this camo. I mean, I'm definitely no way am I a qualified customizer. I've tried to do some painting thinking I could do that. Yeah, no way. Not a chance. So this also has, because Killian ripped him, he like hit him with his hand and ripped this out. And all these will light up too when you turn this on. This figure doesn't have that. So I don't remember any other scene in the movie with this, except for when they're all lining up. You can see it for a brief second. Actually see the back of it, but it's this exact same figure. So talk about some of the neat things that this figure has. And if you want, you're welcome to watch the Mark 40 video, where I do a really good detail on it. This flight pose, because this is supposed to be like the super fast jet suit. In the concept art of it, they actually show the hands like sliding into these areas here and turning them into this one giant streamlined piece. The back here is also this giant thruster on there. So, and he's jagged. If you notice, the arms have these little cutouts on it right there. So all that, in theory, is supposed to snap in place. And it doesn't for the figure, but it was, you know, the, what'd you say? The belief of it was how it's supposed to happen. These were the jet intakes on this. So it's designed for supersonic flight. And so the boots here, when you pull them back, you actually almost can get a full-on flat, unlike any of the others. You can almost get a full-on flat there when you bend it back, which makes it look really cool. No other figure has that either. So only the ones that will have these legs as they continue to build the House Party Protocol. If they do continue to build the rest of the suits, you'll see this in a couple other suits as well. But it's the only one that really has almost flat right across there, which is really neat. But what I really like about this is this paint scheme. And I'm just really, the fact that anybody can do this, any computer or how they do it through dipping or whatever, just blows my mind. I'm just impressed with any of this type of digital camouflage, I think is what they call this. It just comes with real basic accessories. It just comes with his base, comes with his fists, comes with the 2 repulsor palms, and he comes with 2 articulated palms. And that is it. So I had a good friend of mine pick him up for me from San Diego Comic-Con last year, and I was super stoked to get him. Super stoked to get him home, and then that's as far as it got. I don't know if I'm supposed to say who it was that got it for me. He told me to keep it on the DL, so man, I want to say his name, but I'm not going to, out of respect. So I appreciate that he did that for me. But he's a good friend of mine here in the area. So here it is, the Mark 23 shades. Like I said, I like this figure in the first place, so I knew I was going to love this figure when it got here, because it's essentially the Mark 40 only painted into digital camo. I don't even know if he's available anymore, but I think the Mark 40 is. And if you haven't picked up a Mark 40, man, he's extremely unique, extremely cool, and easy to pose. And I made a couple of videos on him actually, because I really liked him. So definitely check that out. Let's move on to something else. Gosh, let's do the bones. Let's just get right here to this Mark 41 Bones retro armor. There's a lot of collectors and a lot of people. Again, same thing. Sideshow exclusive. There's a lot of collectors, a lot of people who are red and gold armor fans only. And if it's not red and gold armor, it really is offensive to them. So when the Bones was fabricated for the movie, as it was the first prehensile suit, supposedly, according to the storyline, it's like the skeleton of it. So Hot Toys decided to do a repaint. So the Mark 23 Shades is not a repaint because it's actually a screen scene armor. It's a Canon armor, and so that is the paint scheme of it, and that's the body of it, even though it's a Mark 40. This is a total, straight up, complete and total, utterly repaint. Do I prefer die-cast or plastic? Die-cast because of durability, plastic because of price. I want all of them to become die-cast eventually. Yeah, the Mark 23 looks a lot better than the Mark 40 shades. This Mark 40 has some beautiful shading on it. This blue and silver is a neat. It's like a, I don't know, what would you call it? Gunmetal blue? Maybe not. But that is a cool color. But man, this is neat. And it's kind of a greenish and brownish. I don't know if you guys can see what he is there. So it's the same shade of blue that this guy is, plus the greens and the browns and the tans. And for real, for a full-on detailed review of this, go see the Mark 40. Gosh, I would think these would flip open, but they don't. You know, when I got my Mark 21 Chrome version, which was not released in the United States at all, it didn't have a lot of the ability to do things. So in order to do things to it, I had to, for real, like crack it open. Areas that should have come open, didn't. I guess these flaps don't open. I thought these were flaps. Check out my actual unboxing of this. But, so on this, I guarantee you, if you wanted to remove these pieces that you can do on here, you just snap them off. Even though I'll bet you any money that they're actually glued on. So they did that same thing with the Mark 21. They did the same thing with the Mark 27 Disco. They actually glued the pieces on. It's really like a Mark 7 in many aspects. You can take them off and still put those pieces on there. Should you want to swap your pieces around, that would make it a capability. The pieces are still there. It still comes off of the same mold. What's going on? El Pachan, you ever left the batteries? You know what? I was sitting here one day, and all of a sudden I heard pop. And I was like, what in the world is that? What's this pop noise I'm hearing? And then, a little while later, I heard it again. It was the doggone batteries exploding, dude. I tell you right now, do not leave your batteries in your figures. These silver oxide batteries, be it a leaking or an exploding, they are not good to leave in your figures. Do not leave them in. That's why it's got to the point now where I don't even want to put them in the first place. There's a company called Soap Reactor who made these AC, what's going on, Doze? They made these AC, what's the word I'm looking for? Conversions for them where you can just plug them in and actually have a wire hanging out of the back of them and going in, and you can plug them in someplace and actually have a remote control for them. And I was going to get that, and it's not cheap. And I don't even know how many to order. I don't even see an exact real site. I think you have to go to Facebook and contact them and get it from them. But when you've got, I don't even know how many I have, 100 figures, and you have to light them all up, and it's like $100 to light up 3 figures or something like that. Dude, I could buy a Porsche. You know what I'm saying? That's what it gets to after a while. Yeah, don't remind me how much I spent on these already in the first place. You'll make me cry. So what do we got here? So the Mark 41 bones, the original bones, came with the House Party Protocol pieces. So we had the round base. This one comes with the 7-sided base. We see it a lot of times now in a lot of the figures. It's a special base. Right there. Those batteries are trash. They need to engineer a single cell on the torso and just have connections in the joints. Well, yeah, they could probably do that if they had like electrical contacts where the arms go in and out. Because on some figures, remember, the arms are interchangeable. And if you've got the arms wired to the chest, and I mean they're hardwired, then you can't interchange the arm. Or you can't necessarily, spin the arm all the way around without it bending and breaking. The Mark 7s have a real bad problem of the elbows and those wires getting bent and broken. So there's a yes and a no to that. I've seen, what I've seen? I've seen this little things that were like, because, Bluetooth technology and earbuds and all that is electricity traveling through the air without there being any contact. And I've seen these little LED lights that work off of a field that you have this base. And if you get these little LED lights within it, it lights up and gets electricity from it. I was wondering if that could be done as a conversion to these Iron Man figures, getting a hold of those lights, if you've seen those, and installing them in here instead of the ones that are in it in the first place. Yeah, Ronald, it's not worth it. Hot Toys Porsche for me. I'm with you, man. And I have to take out those batteries. Yes, they take out your batteries. Do not leave them in. You will be very sad. Getting the new Mark 46. I have the Mark 46. Oh, you mean the concept? Oh, yes. You better believe it. I am really definitely getting that. There are some slight differences on there on the thigh and on the bicep where they made like an extra little line where they cut into it. So it's not an exact duplicate like this, which is an exact repaint of this, but it's a Canon repaint, or this was an exact repaint of the Mark 41 bones, and it's a non-Canon repaint. The Mark 46 concept art is not an exact repaint because there's some pieces on if you look at the pictures and compare between the two, there's the images show an extra lines drawn on the biceps and on the thighs, and I think on the shoulder too. Hey, you draw some extra lines on anything, that's all it takes as far as I'm concerned to make it not a complete full-on repaint, even though, the rest of the suit is more or less likely an exact and total duplicate repaint. I'm surprised the Hulkbuster didn't come with AC cable connection instead of batteries. Man, the Hulkbuster's a beast. Now I love my Hulkbuster. I've got my Hulkbuster sitting by my desk where my computer is in the other room. I just can't get over it, man. It's like a little kid, like my little child. So this is this really neat, and I've done an unboxing review on the Mark 41 bones too. And you're welcome to check that out. This is a neat little arm that they have to put all the things on there. My Mark 41 Bones retro armor will not be being displayed like that. He's going right into my Hall of Armor down there. Let me show you how this looks when he's all put together. And then we'll just get this red and gold one out so you can have a look at that. So this is a beast in regards to when he's in display mode. He just takes up a huge amount of space. Just a really tall, really wide. And he doesn't really go along with the regular lineup. Can you see him there, head to toe? No, you can't, can you? Let's give it a little tilt up. And these pieces, they really don't hold in there really well. But I've kind of tried to put him into his exploded mode where he spins out and goes and gets the guys. So that's what he will look like if you were to display him. And I would imagine the black and gold, you know, it's funny. People have paid to have their Iron Man figures painted black and gold because they didn't come black and gold. I've seen black and gold Mark 6s. And so here's one that's black and gold, or well, it's really not really black, but you know what I'm talking about. And the people wanted a red and gold one because they're red and gold Iron Man fans. So he comes with all the little flames. And this was the first one that came with flames. So there's been a handful that come with them afterwards. This Mark 40 did not come with those flames. I bought those flames off of eBay and put them on there because I really enjoy that appearance when they're in the flight mode. You think Mark III would be... You know, I wish they really do need to do that Mark III over again. It really deserves a redo because it's more or less like the first diecast. What was it? The 02, I think. I don't know what the first one was. I think the first one was the RoboCop. So, yeah, they definitely need to redo the Mark III. No doubt about it. Do I think they will? I don't know. Yeah, okay. The 41 Bones Retro goes well with the Hulkbuster. I think that's a pretty good statement. What's nice about him, because he's all magnetic, is he literally just comes apart. You know, as simple as that. So taking all these little pieces off are going to be really easy. And he really looks really sharp. I like this. I really like this. So the silver on this is subdued through the black and gold. Man, the silver on this is sharp. That snaps. And look at that red. Really glossy. Wow. I'm liking this a lot. This is cool. So obviously I'm going to pose him totally put together instead of totally exploded. And one thing I didn't care for was, because the shape that he is in, you know, this crotch area is just so low. It's just like his baggy pants version. You know, it's like saggy drawers. Tony Stank in his saggy drawers. But it's what they needed to do in order to be able to create the effect. So I don't believe that this is properly proportioned to what the suit would have been in the movie, because obviously the artist would have drawn him properly proportioned. But his torso is just way too long here. And that's just the nature of the beast in order to be able to make him to be able to do what it is that he does, which is break apart into all those pieces. So that's the only complaint I ever had with him, or the fact that these arms don't really hold this position well. I mean, I don't have to reposition this. He's been sitting in this position for months, got maybe a year, without me having to do anything to him. So he is staying, but it takes a while to really get it right into that position to where it will hold this piece in a well enough position to make it look realistic. What do you think about the Power Hulkbuster with the soap reactor by Soap Studios? What was that scale on that? Was that a quarter scale or 1/9 scale? I think it was a quarter scale. I remember seeing that and I thought that was really cool. And what you do? You waved your hands in front of it to make the little pieces open up and close on that. I mean, that's cool. The only time I collect something outside of the scale is if I'm going for an effect to make the figure look like it's doing something. For instance, I bought a bigger Hulk and a smaller Hulk because really Hulk grows, and I'm kind of under the belief that the more pissed off the Hulk is, the bigger he gets. Now, I'm not sure if that's necessarily canon, but I think they're accepting the Hulk movie with Edward Norton as being canon to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And that dude was big in that movie. I'm pretty sure he was bigger than the Hulk that's played by Mark Renner and Mark Ruffalo. And so I'm pretty sure that Hulk gets bigger than the Hulk that we see. So I bought that quarter scale Hulk to add to the collection. Then I bought like a 1/9 scale Hulk to add to the collection because it's like going through there. Do the same thing with the Ant-Man. But the Hulk Buster, I myself won't be getting it. I looked at like the 1/9 scale King Arts Iron Man figures, and I thought about buying those. But I'm tell you what, my Ant-Man that I bought, I think it's the King Arts version Ant-Man. Dude just took a dive. The legs totally plopped off of my yellow jacket. They're just not really durable. I mean, nothing really sticks together on him well. I haven't been able to pop this torso back on here yet. I keep trying to get it on there, but it just doesn't. It's a little more difficult than just pushing it on there because the little peg in there. Nah, I finally get it. I screwed with this for probably 10 minutes before I gave up on it. They're just real loose and just real, and they're not cheap. You're still looking at way over $100 for one of these guys. So I'm not real sold on them. I thought about buying some of the 1/9 scale Iron Man figures to represent like a background thing, especially the Hammer Drones, because Hot Toys hasn't made those, and the odds of Hot Toys making them are like slim to none. So when I found my little Ant-Man all falling apart, my yellow jacket all falling apart, I was like, what in the world? So seeing things that outside of Hot Toys, because Hot Toys really upsets me sometimes whenever they get a figure that just doesn't do right, or is broken, or is loose, or whatever. I don't know what I'm rambling on about now. King Arts somehow has its quality issues. Yeah, most definitely. And like I was saying, even the Hot Toys has quality issues. But man, if those two King Arts figures are anything to represent what the rest of their series looks like, I don't know. That's why I kind of stick to just the 1/6 scale Hot Toys and/or Sideshow figures. Even Sideshow has some quality issues in that regards. Let's do it. Let's go for it. Spider-Man homemade suit. And I'm a Spider-Man nut. I was a Spider-Man nut way before being any other nut. And I read the comics. I own a lot of the Spider-Man comics. And I'm really pleased to see how they've done this. I love my Homecoming Spider-Man. He's great. And I would say some of my Grail figures are going to have to be trying to collect the older Spider-Man figures that I never got around to getting, that now are probably selling for more than I really want to pay for them. I didn't bring my knife back here. Let's see if one of these Thor Gladiator swords. We'll slice this open. Nope, but it'll pry it open. So they also have the same issues of the King Arts. I assume you're talking about, and that's unfortunate. I mean, I really would, because they've made all the they have made, from my understanding, virtually every single one of the House Party Protocol. So they've got like the ones that you can't get through Hot Toys because Hot Toys hasn't released or hasn't released yet, one or the other. I had it in pre-order and canceled due to money issues. Now it's skyrocketed. Man, I tell you what, a lot of these figures are skyrocketed. That is no joke. But what I liked about this, when they did this figure in the movie, was it was kind of really dead on with the series. You know, I've got it in a drawer. I need to fix my file cabinet. I bought this third-party manufacturer company that had made like his little wrestling suit that he had, and I was really disappointed because it was orange. I mean orange, not red. And you Spider-Man guys out there know that originally Spider-Man's suit came from his pajamas. Funny when you think about that. These look like the same spider webs from... I think they are. I think these are the same spider webs from the Homecoming suit. That's cool. But this is like genuine Spider-Man. This like brings it back to it. Oh man, so like that, what, the new video game that's out, which I don't play, not because I don't like video games, but man, I don't have time to do the things that I want to do in the first place, let alone time to play video games anymore. I wish I did. But with all the different Iron Man suits, sheesh. You know, I would buy every single one of those. If they made like, you know, because they got the Spider-Punk, the Spider-Man Avenger one, or what? Not Avenger. What's it called? The red and white one that's kind of like the premier of that video game. I've ordered both of those, and I will order every other one of those 23 or 30 suits or whatever it is. Like I said, Spider-Man nut. It's because Peter Parker is so genuine. He's just you and I. You know what I mean? He's just the normal guy. Tony Stark, super genius. The Hulk, what's his name? Bruce Banner, super genius. Black Widow's character, what's her name? Natalie. Come on. You know, none of us even begin to compare to her. But Peter, alright. So Peter is a super genius, but he's not like super genius like any more so than just a smart kid at school. You know what I'm saying? He is. But you don't get that sense. I don't know. Okay, you do. You do get that sense. But still, I guess, he's most relatable, in my opinion, to all of them. Now, as I've gotten older, I can relate a lot to Tony in the comics. Heck, I can relate a lot to Peter Parker as he's gotten older in the comics, too. I guess that's still part of any of it, no matter, is the relatability to these figures, or these characters, out of any of them. And in this suit, where he is coming to terms with his newfound ability, kind of, you know, it's like, bravo. What do we got here? His little eyes. One thing I don't care for now is they've put these little accessories like this for like the eyes, built them into the main case. I liked it before when they had this as a little pop out so you could store it differently, but now they're just always going to be loose, which means they're going to get lost. Right now I store them in a filing cabinet, literally in a filing cabinet with files. So I like pull up the manila file and all the little hands and and flames and everything are in these Ziploc bags that I put them in and put them in these manila files. And the file folder is so full now. I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to buy one of those little boxes that you pull out that people will put screws or fishing lures and stuff in. I think that's what I'm going to do from now on for storing all of these little figures, accessories, and stuff. Let's see, what do we got? Detail's so good, but the quality is based on luck, really. The homemade suit is pretty much a reverse color scheme of the Scarlet Spider. Dude, I love the Scarlet Spider in the comics. If they put the $20.99 suit in Hot Toys, oh my god. What was his name in $20.99? Miguel? Don't remember now. Dude, you're absolutely right. And when they came out with the Scarlet Spider back in the 90s, you know, back then things were different than the way they were now. Technology wasn't what it is nowadays. And it's so funny. I'm reading the Scarlet Spider series as it's coming out with, I think he called himself Ben Parker, didn't he? And I was like, geez, they're going to kill him. They're going to kill him off. Dude, I got on my phone, and this is back before cell phones were everywhere. And I got on my phone, regular phone, had to look up through information, phone number to Marvel in New York City. Called up there, and literally I was like, you know, in my most professional voice I possibly could have, they said, you know, Marvel Comics. And I said, oh yeah, Stan Lee, please. Simple as that. And they're like, one moment. And then another person answered the phone, a lady. And she says, Stan Lee's office. And I said, yes, may I please speak to Stan Lee? And she said, sure. May I tell him who's calling? Sure. And I gave her my name. And she says, and how do you know Stan Lee, Mr. Lee? And I said, oh, a close personal friend. And she said, all right, who would that be? And I said, Peter Parker. You know, you could hear the screech of that phone call. I mean, I was there. I could have had Stan the man on the phone if I'd just been better thought prepared over that whole thing. And she's like, you do realize that Peter Parker's not a real person, right? And I'm like, yeah, I know that. So I just wanted to call him and tell him that not to kill Ben. Don't kill the Scarlet Spider because he's an amazing character, in my opinion. He came out with all these different abilities or advancements that Peter didn't do. Peter built his suit and didn't do nothing with it. He made the shooters. He made all these things right off the bat and then didn't invent anything. He didn't invent nothing anymore. He just came to a complete screeching halt on all of his inventions in the comics. And Scarlet Spider came out, and he totally was inventing stuff left and right. So yeah, I never thought of this being the anti or the reverse color of the Scarlet Spider outfit. But you're absolutely right. You are 100% dead on right. I'm digging this suit. I'm going to turn this camera down just a little bit. I think it's probably too high for things. It looks real. I mean, it looks like what I imagine it would look like if it were a real story, you know? I really like this. So if you remember, you know, he had these little eyes that he could switch back and forth. So it comes with the interchangeable eyes. And I always hate messing with these eyes because once you mess with them, you've loosened the way it connects. I imagine this is possibly a magnet. Feels pretty sturdy in there. Let's see. No. Well, maybe it is. I mean, it doesn't look like a magnet. That was pretty cool when he fell down and those kids were out there camping out. His little eyes were like going crazy because they were malfunctioned from, I think he hit electrical cord or something. So that's neat. Miguel, yeah, Miguel O'Hare. That's right. Ben Riley. Ben Riley! Yeah, that was the Scarlet Spider. Do you have this Sneaky Mark 15? I do have the Sneaky Mark 15 Retro. He is Where is he? What? Sneaky Mark 15 Retro. Why is my brain not functioning right now? Did they make a Sneaky Mark 15 Retro? Dude, you're messing with me, aren't you? Why do I not see my Sneaky? Dude, you're messing with me, aren't you? 9/22. If there's a Sneaky. What is my brain doing? Dude, you've totally ruined my brain right now. There is no Sneaky Mark 15 Retro, is there? You're right. Even after killing Gwen, Peter didn't make any... No, he didn't do anything. And so when Ben Riley came out, I was like, dude, you got to keep him. Oh, so to finish up that story, when I told her that, and then my advancements came to a complete screeching halt. She said, "Well, Stan's not in that division anymore where he makes those decisions." At that point, if I remember correctly, I think she said that Stan was on to he'd been put in charge of the division of Marvel Comics that makes like their darker side. Morbius, I think, is where there. The vampire guy and the Ghost Rider. He was over that. He wasn't over Spider-Man anymore. It had been shifted. She asked if I wanted to talk to the person in charge of that division, and I was like, you know what? I think I've wasted these people's time as much as I can. And I asked her. I said, just tell them not to kill him because this character has development. He's got interest, and he's done things that Peter hadn't. And they ended up killing him. But if I remember correctly, they brought him back or something, didn't they? Wasn't there like in the Clone Wars or something? Ben Riley came back. I don't remember. But he's really, really super articulated. And I'm loving the little footprints on the bottom of this. It's really cool. You can really get Spider-Man into some really intricate poses here, which is important whenever you're posing a Spider-Man, because I think it was Todd McFarlane that really gave us Spidey in these super weird poses where like his legs are like way up here and his hands are like way down here and he's all twisted and configured out, and I mean that's how you want to get Spidey. You want to be able to put him around, and his hips don't do as much. Just after I sat there and said he's really super articulated because I was pulling his feet down, I'm going to have to say now he's not really necessarily super articulated, but you can get some good movement out of here, but not as much as I would like to see, especially because this isn't a restricting suit, unlike the Black Panther suit, which is a restricting suit, which keeps you from posing him in different areas. This suit is not necessarily a restricting suit, but you can kind of get him into some of these weird poses that we see him get into, but not his hips need to be able to come up more. You should be able to, I mean, he should be able to have his hips like up here. Yeah, it doesn't happen. This might be better switching this body out with like a Fison. And to tell you the truth, if I were to switch it out, I believe you'd have to switch it out with the female body. I don't know if they make a Fison body that's not as... I mean, the guy bodies are like really super developed, aren't they? So this is kind of disappointing. He should be able to get these way up there, and it's not happening. That's not happening. I'm really loving the suit, though. Let's see what we have underneath. Anything? Does it even zip? He's got a t-shirt on. Why can't I unzip it? Here we go. Come on. So blue t-shirt. And because this looks like pajamas. You know what I mean? This looks like pajamas, which is, in the storyline, how he made his first Spider-Man suit. It was with pajamas. Hey Siri, what's going on, Ruben? Did you tell Stan's assistant to keep Morbius' 70s disco jacket no matter what? First appearing open chest jacket. I did. I didn't follow like all of the comics when I was reading them back in the day. I, for the most part, just bought every single Spider-Man, which I think was 4 titles back then. It was Web of Spider-Man, Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man, and Spectacular Spider-Man, I think were the titles back then. So, of course, anytime there was a crossover, which happened a lot, that's when I would get introductions or knowledge or be taught about the other characters. But I really didn't buy the other character comics, so I don't know anything about Morbius. I know very little about Morbius. I know his name. I think I'm even saying that incorrectly. Siri, do keep detoffs or prefer shelving for displaying the figure? Someone took Sneak 15 retro. Yeah, dude, you're blowing my mind. What is wrong with me? Yes, I do have my Sneaky, and I have the Sneaky retro. So where in the world is he? Now that my brain has had a chance to come to itself, I do have those. I have them both, and I love them. What's neat about Sneaky is his hands, because like his left hand is different from his right hand. Where in the world is he? There's the black one, and I got the red and gold one. Where is the red and gold one? Right here. I thought it was my hot rod I was looking at. God, guys, messing with my mind. You know what's nice about this Sneaky retro, back to the retro guys, is the chrome. I'm really digging that chrome. Now, if you touch that chrome, you can have a big fingerprint right on it. But man, this Mark 15's extremely cool, which goes back to this bones here. So this is kind of a satin color, much like the Mark 9 has a satin red. It's not shiny as such. It looks kind of satin. This is shiny. The whole thing on this is shiny. Man, I really love this bones. He's gonna look good. He's gonna go right here with my I got this spot already open for my house party protocol, which is where I had my 15. I'm looking down here, and I'm like 922. I don't know why I was skipping. I don't know why in the world I thought that was the retro. I mean the Mark 22 hot rod. The more I kept looking at this, I kept thinking it was the Mark 22 hot rod. Sweet Christmas. And that's what it's like every day, opening these figures. And which makes it difficult for my wife to buy me anything for Christmas, because I buy everything that I want already. And that kind of sucks. How do you not get the figure that you really want, that you have the money to buy, and tell your family member to get it for me? Hey, I really want this Mark 15 retro Sneaky armor, but why don't you buy it for me? No, I want it now. Like one of the guys said, who was it that said a year in a box? Yeah, what was I thinking, keeping this figure a year in the box? How the world is he supposed to hold this? Is there a scene of him holding this in his hand? He has a little, gripping, holding, must be this one. So let me show you all the hands. So he's got 2 fists. He has a little hole there, which I imagine is for the web shooting. He has a little bit larger hole here, which will be great for grasping other things and or his face mask. Then he has his pressed against fingers, where he's like, you know, proning himself. And then we have 2 web shooters. And by the way, Spider-Man has traditionally done the I love you. His thumb is traditionally out more, literally in this manner. So I don't much care for how they did that, not like that. That's I love you in American Sign Language, and this is not. This is the rock and roll or the sign of the devil or whatever symbol or whatever. But Spider-Man, his thumb's been out. I mean, that's been his thing, and so I didn't much care for how they've done that in too much, only because it's just a slight change. I guess it's semantics. Who cares, really? I guess I'm being nitpicky, but it is cool. I really love the detail on this. Speaking of the Mark 15 armors and the Mark 15 Retro, the detail on those hands is amazing. And I don't know why this hand is different. This lights up. Check out my review on this guy. This lights up. I wish they'd made the hand light up, but I don't know anything about this figure. I don't think they ever really said why it's important for this hand to be different than the others. So this is like a traditional Mark III through up hand, just a regular hand. But this and the whole arm and everything is different on this one. And it's cool because of that. I'm thinking to get one for Australia Pop Culture Store. Thinking getting what? The Mark 15 Retro? Thanks, Siri, for your work. I've got to get back to work. See you, man. Thanks for stopping in. Really enjoy you guys spending the time with me in the mornings like this. And I got some figures that are coming, I think. I really want to do this Lady Death. I think next week I'm going to open up this TV League Fison Lady Death figure. I really, gosh, I would have to say, somebody asked me one time what my Grail figure is. The original Fison Lady Death. That's a Grail. The original Lokis from Avengers. That's a Grail. I have this Star Ace King Leonidas, which I love. The Hot Toys one, I guess, would have to be a Grail. And I want to open up this Lady Death next week for fact. And I bought a bunch of these Chitauri soldiers. You can get these now as a freaking steal from Big Bad Toy Store for like, they give you $150 off. Not on the purchase of the figure. So you got to spend the $230 or whatever it is. But they'll give you a $150 credit, which makes the figure like less than $100. And I'm sure you guys have been paying attention to the Avengers 4 sneak peeks. They're going back to the Battle of New York. It's going to make stuff like this relevant again. That story is going to be retold. That Mark 7 is going to be relevant again. I mean, there's going to be some changes, some things that looks like exciting times. So that's why I finally decided to pull the trigger and get these Chitauris. One, because they were on super duper sale, and two, because the story is going to be retold again in Avengers 4. That's what I'm under the impression as I've watched the sneak peeks that come out. So it looks like it's about time to wrap up, guys. It's getting close to 8 o'clock. Is there anything you want me to show you real quick or anything? Let me show you. I put up all my little Astromechs over here. Set some light on this. And one thing was Doc Brown versus Willy Wonka. Who would win? Willy Wonka, definitely. One thing I noticed on these was that the original BB-8 is brown and white, and the new BB-8 from the second movie is orange and white. And of course, I have him displayed with the flame thumb. You have to have him with the flame thumb. But he comes with all these neat little features. And I found out that the BB-9 actually lights up. All those little things in there light up. So he does something instead of not doing anything at all. So, so the new Hot Toys R2d2 is essentially this figure. So he does all the beeping and whirring and all that with all the stuff. I mean, he comes with all the stuff. So that's the R2D2 Deluxe Special Edition, which came with 6 arms. And so the Hot Toys one comes with, I don't even know what the number is. I'd be totally guessing. So I've taken the arms from my R2D2 Deluxe and put them into my other R2D2s you may see back there. And so I ran out of arms because they only came with 3 extra ones. I put one in my R2Q5, one in the unpainted prototype style R2D2, and then one in the R5D4. So I ran out of arms for my CB whatever it is, and the other R5 whatever that is. So I'm hoping that the Hot Toys arms will fit, but I have a feeling they will not. Did you say you got these through Pop Culture? I'm not sure what Pop Culture is. Been wondering if it's genuine. I'm not sure what Pop Culture is. What is Pop Culture? Is that a store? I buy these from Big Bad Toy Store or eBay or Facebook. Some other collectors that are selling their collections is how I get my figures. But for the most part, I get my figures from Big Bad Toy Store, unless it's a Sideshow exclusive. Then of course you have to buy it through Sideshow. For instance, the Mark 46 concept art is a Sideshow exclusive, and what's his name? T'Challa's dad, and the concept art Captain America. I've seen that that's been, Hot Toys or Sideshow Base showed that that's been actually released now. So that means, God, it seems like it takes 3 months to get to us when it gets out in Hong Kong first. So first gets released there, and then 3 months later it finally comes this way. So I'm pretty excited about that concept art Captain America. I didn't think I was going to collect the Captain Americas, so like I didn't collect like the first 4 or 5 or whatever it is. And now I'm saying to myself, gee, I'm going to have to start chasing those down. I have 2 or 3 of the Captain Americas, and I love them. And so now I'm thinking, yep, I'm going to have to get me a Captain America collection. Hope you'll sell figures for us. Laugh out loud, let me know. Hope you'll sell figures for us. Not sure what you mean. It's an Australian store. Just thought you heard you mention it. As it turned in, I normally go through Sideshow. So are they like the Big Bad Toy Store down in Australia? And by the way, I try to speak Australian because I know that you, if you're down there in Australia, you say it differently than us Yanks do, where we say like Australia, and that's wrong because it's Australia. So I try to say it that way. Anyhow, is that what that is? Is it like a Big Bad Toy Store down there? Or like what do they have in England or in Europe? Isn't it the Good and Bad and Robots or something like that? So you have all these different companies that sell Hot Toys figures, and they're renowned for selling Hot Toys figures. And then you have, of course, the official Hot Toys figure stores. So the other stores, they sell them brand new. They're just not exclusive Hot Toys distributors like Sideshow, Toy Sapiens, is that it? Secret Base and Rebel Base. I think those are the only official, honest to goodness, representatives of Hot Toys. I don't know. I may be wrong. There may be others, but there's a lot of other companies out there that sell them. What's it? The Falcon Hangar, I think, out in Singapore, sells Hot Toys figures. But no, I've never heard of them. So, thanks again, guys, for sticking it out with me and watching me open up some of these figures. I'm really digging this Retro Man. He looks good. Looks really good. And I'm going to display him just as such. And I'm really digging the suit on this. I hate the body. This is definitely one that you would want to switch the body out on. It's just, it should have more hip movement. So to sum up things. But I'll be back again next Saturday, obviously, for a live one. Like I said, I'm going to do that Lady Death. And I need to do some reviews, some honest goodness real reviews of these figures, and I will get to that. So thanks again for watching, everyone. Thanks for subscribing. Not sure, because I'm in England, the dead space for collectibles. Big Bad Toy Store, dude. They ship worldwide, and you can order stuff at Big Bad Toy Store, and unless it's like Hulkbuster priced, or I think the Mark 43, the brand new Mark 43, which is a re-release of the original Mark 43, there's a certain dollar amount that they require a deposit on, and I think it's $300. So if any figure exceeds $300, I think it's $300, then you have to pay a deposit at Big Bad Toy Store. Otherwise, you don't have to give them any money beforehand. And so on a figure, you can have it it could sit there for a year or 2 years. Like, what's the Hulkbuster going to be, like a year and a half or something like that, which gives you opportunity. It's 18 months away till Hulkbuster's released, so you have 18 months to save up for that, and you don't have to give them any of the money. You can put it in the bank and draw whatever little bitty portions of interest that the bank is paying. But yeah, Big Bad Toy Store, they'll ship anywhere, man. I love Big Bad Toy Store, and they ship it in a box. So I don't know of anybody else. I've not bought from. I buy from 1/6 Kit. He started selling Kit Chen. You can find him on Facebook. He started selling Hot Toys figures, and I've bought from 1/6 Outfitters also off of Facebook, and they've started. Well, I actually have their websites too. They've started selling Hot Toys figures also. So I've bought from them. I've had good rapport with them. But man, Big Bad Toy Store is my first. That's the first place I go anytime a figure comes out. I'm going to Big Bad Toy Store every single time. They ship worldwide, and you don't pay for it until it arrives in their store. All right, man. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for sticking with me. Thanks for watching me. Share these videos. Tell your friends about them. Get the little notification bell so that you get reminded of these videos when they come up. And hey, ask me anything you want in your questions, man. I try to respond to every single comment that anybody puts up on any video, no matter what. So ask away. Tell me what you need me to do, or what you'd like to see me to do. And see you next week. Thanks for watching. Happy collecting.